Here, Dr. Heigo Ritsbek, Cardinal of the Holy Catholic Church International. We have been looking in our series of lectures, Church Life, and especially during the last lectures, Eucharist. Now today we will begin with another very important Holy Sacrament, baptism. We read from the Holy Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 28, from verse 18. And Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." Let's see the text carefully, the order of this command of Jesus. At first, Jesus announces that he has all the authority. Authority in heaven and authority on earth. And based on this authority, Jesus gives into his followers a command. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations. How? And he gives two specific points. First, baptizing them. Secondly, teaching them. Surely when they are adults who are to be baptized, they're getting some kind of information or teaching before the baptism, but basically it comes later. And what we are teaching? Everything that Jesus has taught to his disciples. Baptizing and teaching, baptizing and teaching, baptizing and teaching. This is God's order. And the early church took it very seriously. Let's look at the book of Acts, for example. Nobody is considered to be a Christian if this person is not baptized. This is 20th century and 21st century vocabulary. We say we are saved. We went to evangelistic rally and we got saved. It's not biblical. In the book of Acts, we don't read so many people got saved. No, so many people got baptized. And even people outside the church knew that they are Christians, and they were Christians when they were baptized. For example, let's look at an interesting story in Acts 16. I'm not telling all the facts of this story, you know, probably yourself. St. Paul and Silas have been thrown into prison. The sadist man there, prison guard member, has ordered to be that Saul and Paul had to be beaten, and then of course based on Roman custom, the bloody wounds, they were put some salt into them, and in this dirty cell, what St. Paul and Silas are doing? Are they complaining? No, they are singing praises to God. And then we know earthquake is, and then they will be free. The leader, who was the prison leader, comes there and asks the question, what I have to do to get saved. And St. Paul is preaching to him, what time is it now all about? If you go through the whole story and all these events on that day, you'll come to the understanding it's approximately 3 or 4 a.m. Many things have happened on that day. Many things. Paul and Saul have been tortured. They had proclaimed gospel. But now the whole family comes to be baptized. Why? Today's world we have said, okay, this has been a very busy day, very terrible day. Let's have a nap. Let's go to sleep. Tomorrow we will continue. No. It shows that it was so important to get baptized. In the first century, Roman authorities didn't consider anybody a Christian who was not baptized. Church saw this was your initiation into Christ, so did the authorities and the government. If you were not baptized, you were not needed to fear that you will be thrown into gladiators or into the lions. No, you were not able to become a martyr actually if you were not baptized. Even today, most of the Satanists and witches don't consider you a person with whom there is no need to deal anymore before you are baptized. Many evangelists and many pastors are telling many stories that when the parents of the teenagers, how they have reacted when the teenagers have come to the youth meetings and other activities of the church, and they more or less say, okay, let them go there. But when the teenagers are getting baptized, then they are getting mad and angry. If you want to understand what's baptism, then we have to ask some questions. What is baptism? I want to be very honest with you and very blunt. There are two opposite understandings concerning baptism in the Christian church today. Two possibilities. First, is baptism announcement of that I have believed in Jesus Christ? Is this proclamation what I have done, that I have followed Christ? Is baptism my testimony about my dedication to Christ? If this is so, what happens during baptism? What is going on? You have already received Christ. Jesus is your Savior. Is this symbol of something? You put me under water. This is the symbol that I died with Christ when I received Jesus into my life. Is this my testimony? My testimony, what already happened? What has happened already before the baptism? And in the baptism, nothing specially happens. I will give simply a symbolic testimony. And in the world there are millions and millions of Christians who believe so. But there is also another possibility, that this is a proclamation that not I am making the proclamation most, but God is He who is speaking. If I say that I have believed, this is my speaking and this is my baptism, but another possibility is that God is who is speaking. And in this case, in baptism, God announces about His grace, His mercy, His covenant, by whom He has caught me. I am in His hand. He declares that He is catching me. It declares that I belong to Him. I am not talking about my commitment to God. God is talking to me about His commitment to me. And from this commitment to me, so kind of amazing promises are coming into my life in connection with new covenant. What can I do? Nothing. Baptism is God's idea. He simply says, you are mine. What I will do, I will say, Amen. Baptism is not my testimony, what has already happened, but my submission to God, which is based on His announcement. I am His and He's doing something. And you have to choose now between these two possibilities. When we turn to the Colossians chapter 2 verses 11 and 12, then it's written here so. In Him also you were circumcised with a circumcision made without hands, by putting off the body of the flesh, by the circumcision of Christ, having been buried with Him in baptism, in which you were also raised with Him through faith in the powerful working of God, who raised Him from dead. You see here baptism and circumcision are together. And in the baptism you died and you were resurrection. Let's talk about circumcision. First we see circumcision in Genesis 17. God's idea was circumcision, not Abraham's. God wanted to enter into covenant with Abraham. It wasn't Abraham's idea. God gave sign of His covenant. And the sign of the covenant was in Abraham. It's mine. Even nowadays we know that in certain places there are put marks to the animals, group of different animals. In the ancient Rome, the gladiators were marked by iron. Soldiers were marked. Slaves were marked. It was a sign of covenant. God has done something and He's continuing to do so. And everybody had to be circumcised. Not only this Jewish leader of the family, all males, even the non-Jews. You were maybe a pagan from Timbuktu, but you had to be circumcised when the leader of the Jewish family made this decision. This was nothing new. Circumcision itself was nothing new. But in this case, God entered into the relationship of human beings with humans in such a way by circumcision. And it was in Old Testament, and in the New Testament we have now baptism. Amen.